Trevon, just talk about how you feel physically in your first practice back from your knee injury.
I felt good. Just being out there was a blessing. Just being able to go out there with the team, and practice with my brother. So that felt really good.
What do you feel the odds are that you take the field against the Eagles in Philly?
I think I need a couple more practices just to see where I'm at. Just going full speed at things. I feel like really, really good. So just as far as the repetition and just getting familiar with the game. So I don't know yet, but the more that I practice, we got a break. I'm gonna stay here and continue to work and just try to make it at least the first game.
How comfortable are you in Matt Eberflus's scheme, new system this year?
Real comfortable. I like it a lot. Putting me in a lot of positions to make plays. It's a really good system, and I like it a lot.
What is the biggest challenge in terms of getting your body ready for an actual game?
The conditioning, mainly. It's different, just working out with yourself and then having to cover someone, chase someone, run after the ball. Just that I feel like that's the main thing. So in practice, I make sure that I'm always running to the ball, always running, doing extra gases, doing everything I can just to be physically conditioned for the game and stuff.
Do you consider yourself a fast healer? Because it was always projected you would come back a little bit later and you come back a little earlier than people thought.
I feel like you put in the work, you're gonna get out what you put in. So I think that I put in the work for it, and just being able to have the opportunity to even come back, just a blessing from God, and I'm just truly thankful, just Him watching over me and getting me back.
Can you compare where you are coming back from the ACL as compared to coming back to this at this point going into a season? Is it similar or different?
Yeah, similar. Like with my ACL, I felt comfortable too going into the season as well. So I just feel like the work that I put in this time was a little bit more, and it felt better.
So everything's been said about your rehab and recovery and how you approach things. You feel you proved people wrong?
I think it was more so just proving myself that I can get back out there. I really don't think that it's about anybody else. At the end of the day, I got to go out there and perform. I got to go out there and make sure that I'm available, to perform. Just put in the work, keep my head down, and people gonna have their opinion regardless. So whether it's good or bad, you can't always listen to the outside noise, and just really just focus on you and focus on what you need to do every day to be successful.
And that's kind of why you went to Miami, because you was focusing on doing what's best for you.
And another thing, like, I have no issues with, the training staff or nothing. Like, me and Britt are cool. Like, that's my guy, we go back and forth, we have our differences, but, he just wants the best for me. He wants me to be out there, and that's ultimately my goal as well. I want the best for myself, and, I want to be out there as well. So, it was never nothing against, the Dallas Cowboys and the program. I just felt like I just needed to take, advantage and take initiative for me and my career.
Could you kind of take us behind the curtain a little bit about what you were able to do to curate specifically workouts for you in Florida and why that was beneficial for you?
Just working out with Dr. Reef. It was more specific, and just the rehab of it all, and just the strengthening and the conditioning of it. I just seen him bring my brother back fast. I see CD goes down there as well, and it's all great reviews. So I decided to go out there and see, and it worked out.
Have you talked to the team about the salary reduction? Do you think they will still do that?
I don't know. It is what it is at this point. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I just got to make sure, I go out there, put on my best performance.
The fact that you're here, is that making a statement to them to say, hey, look, regardless of if I was here or Florida, look where I'm at, I'm 153, earlier than what you thought?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, definitely the work that I put in shouldn't go discredited, but at the end of the day, rules is rules, contracts is contracts, and I got to live whatever decision that is.
Was this always your timetable to get back at this point?
Yeah, basically between the first and the third week, that was my timetable for myself. So I just wanted to make sure I did everything I can just to be able to just have that opportunity just to be here. So.
As you watch training camp practices and the preseason games, there are a couple of young guys, not just rookies, but young veterans who really made strides that you think can be real key contributors this year?
Yeah, 100%. I like all the guys, honestly. Like, everyone does a good job. And I feel like we're more together, more brotherhood, more just like a family, you know. So when you have that, and especially the locker room, you got everybody, you know, playing ping pong with each other, socializing, talking, and just, you know, it's more together, and that just plays a big factor in offense and the defense and as a team. So, you know, I feel like that's the most important part, and I feel like we got that piece down.
As you've been getting your knee back and ready and healthy, have you also been studying the Eagles at all, like their receivers or tendencies, what they've done in the preseason with a new coordinator and things like that too, or has it just been about your knee?
Me specifically?
Yeah.
Have I, or as a team?
You.
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Been playing the Eagles twice a year for my whole career. So, you know, I'm familiar with those guys. I'm familiar with their receivers. I'm familiar with the quarterbacks. So, you know, it's just refreshing, going over things that I know and things that I see, things that I can introduce to the coaches that I've seen and that I know, you know, just working together that way. So, yeah.
Can you be ready in 10 days, or you need more time than that?
One more time?
Can you be ready in 10 days for the Eagles game, or you need more time than that?
Like I said, I got to practice, see how I feel, get out there, run around, really, you know, put my foot in the ground and dig and drive and just go. And conditioning is really the main thing. So, you know, if all is that good and all that checks out, probably could be out there.
When do you plan to do in the practice?
Friday.
Now that you're close to playing, how close do you think Micah will be?
I don't know. You know, I'm not him at the end of the day. You know, I just hope, you know, we get everything worked out, get everything, you know, situated. You know, all the guys miss him. Everybody wants him out there, you know. So I just hope, you know, everything gets handled so we can just go out there and win.
You're pretty familiar with his workouts. How much prep do you think he would need in order to actually get back on the field?
He actually works out all the time. Like, even when we were in training camp, you know, he would wake up early in the morning, run, lift weights. You know, he's getting in the sauna. I'm getting in the sauna with him. You know, he goes home when we're home. He works out. So, you know, he does everything that he can, just about everything can that, you know, instead of being on the field. So, you know, I know that, you know, he's working and he wants to get out there bad. You know, I know what type of person he is. I know what type of hard worker he is. So, you know, I just know he wants to be out there.
He has to be traded, but you think he wants to be part of this team?
Most definitely. Like I've heard him say before, you know, he plays the game, you know, for us. You know, we go out there sweating, blood, sweat, tears. We work out together, you know, training together. So, you know, it's really, you know, him being with us at the end of the day. So I know for sure he wants to be out there with us and, you know, just helping his team win. You know, this is home, like this is his family. So why wouldn't he want to be here?
For you,
Last question, please.
For you physically, do you feel like you have any limitations, or is it just a matter of ramping back up?
Physically, no, I don't have no limitations. It's really just ramping up the conditioning part, getting back to football speed, getting back to in-game speed, and, you know, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Trevon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.